Welcome to Birds Play Sports, where we weekly cover Ravens and Orioles news. We're your hosts, TJ and Jared. And in this video, we're going to be doing a pregame for upcoming Week 13 matchup, Thanksgiving matchup, showdown against the Cincinnati Bengals, a game that is very, very important as we want to keep our top standing in the AFC North. And it's also important because we win. I think I saw this post. If the season were to end today, the Bills will be coming here in a wild card to play against us because we're currently the fourth seed. So it's very
Actually, I think
important
it'd be
for us.
Jacksonville.
What was that?
I think it'd be Jacksonville now because since they lost.
Oh, it'll be Jacksonville.
You
Okay.
know, I think the Bills are the seventh seed right now.
Yeah, they are the seventh seed and we're the fourth seed, I think it said. So
Let me look real quick to make sure.
I
Yeah.
got
Oh,
you.
actually, the Chargers would. Sorry.
So it'll be us versus the Chargers. Hey, that's a crazy matchup, but
Look,
all
I'm
in
all for
all,
it. Roman in the playoffs. Hell yeah. Let's do it.
yeah, but all in all, we just need to keep winning so we can keep our top seed, our top four seed, in the AFC playoffs and get at least one home game, get at least one home game. But, just going into this game, just my first thoughts, obviously we know what Jamar Chase did, to the defense last year and Burrow. We know what that duo was all about and the type of, mayhem they can cause for, the defensive coaches and schemes and all of that. And it's really going to be interesting. I kind of got at this in the Jets video, but it's really going to be interesting to see how we attack that. They won't have T Higgins in this game, on offense, and they won't have Trey Hendrickson on defense. We'll get to that, but it's all going to be on Chase. They got it's all going to be on Chase. They got Yosivas, they got Sky Tinsley, but Chase is going to be the main guy. And it's going to be interesting to see how the defense attacks that. I feel like Wiggins should probably be on Chase. I do not want to see Marlon Humphrey on Jamar Chase. I think that's a nightmare waiting to happen. I want to see Wiggins on Chase, and I think that should be the go-to because he's asked for the top guys. He asked to follow Jefferson. He asked to follow Dunze, I believe. He's asked to follow all the top guys we played so far. So I low key would want to see how Wiggins does against him on the first couple of drives. And if he does good, maybe you can keep him on there single coverage. But if he gets a little bit torched, that's when we need the brackets and the double coverages. But I think the most important thing will be to continue the defensive intensity and pressure from Draymond Jones and Mike Green. We'll be getting Peebles in this game. So I feel like keeping that defensive intensity and getting pressure on Burrow and getting sacks is going to be the key to the victory. Because we don't have Mads. So, we're not that, deep when it comes to the D line. And, Peebles, obviously, we don't give him a lot of chances to play. So he might be a little bit rusty. We're going to need to get that pressure from our edge rushers. And I feel like that's going to be the keys to the game. I don't think the Bengals really have that great of an O line. Obviously, they don't because they let Burrow get hurt for most of the year. So we're really going to have to attack that. I feel like as far as running, see Chase Brown is like he's like a shifty running back. He's kind of like a pest. Like you might miss him a couple times, you might get him a couple times, but he's always going to keep coming. So I feel like we'll be able to stop him, but it really just bogs down to getting pressure on Burrow and getting those sacks. I feel like that, and we're going to have to come up with schemes, and Orr is going to have to really learn from last year really learn. Like I'm kind of excited in a way to see how we attack them. But I want to ask you, what do you expect from the defense in this game?
Ravens and learning. I don't know if that's really two words that go together very often, in a good way, besides learning the hard way. But it does suck that we're not gonna have Matabike. I believe he sacked Burrow like four times in the one game last year. It was three or four times or something crazy like that. And I'd actually predicted something like that. I said Matabike was gonna get like two or three sacks tonight, and I was happy. I always get one random prediction or breakout right, and it's always something stupid like that. But he also had a big sack on a on the Mount Burrow the first game. It was in late in the fourth quarter. The game was tied at 38, and he sacked him, and it ruined the whole drive for the Bengals. So it does suck that we're not going to have him or any interior pressure, but hopefully Peoples can get out there For all I know, they're gonna call up some, random guy they found, in Africa, and then have him play instead. You know, um, some guy we never heard of or has played a down of football in his life, but it was in like second grade. But they'd play anybody. They'd probably play me or you over people's in all seriousness, But to answer your question in all seriousness, um, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna look okay. It's not. I don't. It's not going to be great. I think that they're going to struggle getting pressure on Burrow just because they struggle getting pressure on everybody. But I will say that I won't mind if they struggle to get pressure as long as they get pressure and sacks at crucial moments like third downs and fourth downs and late in the game and stuff like that. I'll take that over not getting any pressure at all. Or like over or we'll get pressure early in the game, but then don't get it in the second half or something like that. This offensive line isn't good, so I hope that we get more pressure than I'm expecting. But like I said, though, crucial third downs or whatever, we can't let the Bengals have a second life. I don't know how mobile Burrow is going to be during the game, but we always just have to when a great player is on the field, just expect greatness. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
if they're in a slump, it doesn't matter if they're coming back from an injury or whatever. You can't just assume, oh, he hasn't played in 2 months, he's going to be rusty. Like, no, you don't assume things. You have one thing you do assume is that they're a good player, which is not really assuming something. That's what you know. You assume, or you know that they're a good player, so treat them like they've been playing this whole season. I don't want to see in this, lackadaisical stuff that that from the defense. I don't want to see them playing around too much. With Chase or whatever. With T Higgins going to be out in this game. Which I'll talk about in the injury report later. That it's going to be. I would bracket him all game. I would tell Wiggins no. You're not on him all game. We're gonna bracket him. This is what we're worried about the most. We got to cover him all game, double cover him all game. Like I'm not playing any games. We're not in play game or game playing mode or whatever. We're in win mode right now. We're in playoff form mode right now. We can't be playing around. And with our offense really struggling over these last few weeks, we can't afford a shootout. So I mean, the Ravens maybe can turn it on for a shootout, but like they've had chances for a shootout this year, like versus Buffalo, versus, Kansas City, versus the Lions. And how many games of those did they win? None of them. So, we need to keep their yardage and points to a minimum. Keep them under 25, you can win the game. Anything over that, it's anyone's guess at that point.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And me and you both were getting to definitely some note. They're going to look back at the film last year and really figure out, what went wrong. We know that Marcus Williams was kind of a part of that, especially in the Thursday night game, getting
Yeah,
very lazy on his assignments. And I mean, we don't really, see a lot of that this year, luckily, but again, we're just going to have to make sure that doesn't happen at all. Like no breakdowns in the secondary. But
right.
moving on to the offense, I feel like this is a prime, I want to say a get right game, an opportunity to be so for the Ravens O line. The Bengals defense is one of the worst defenses in the league. In fact, it's probably been this way for the past two seasons. This is a great opportunity to get allow the Ravens O line to get some confidence. I feel like Derrick Henry should be pound, pound, pound this game. Derrick Henry should probably have like 25 rushing attempts and like 180 yards. Just give the ball to him all game. They are not good defensively. And Trey Hendrickson is going to be out. You don't have to worry about that much pass rush. If we let the Bengals get more than 2 sacks, that's going to be sad. It really is going to be sad. This game
Mark
should be
Stewart
all
ain't playing
about
either.
running. What was that?
Mark Stewart ain't playing either.
There you go. Like it should be no problem. Like pass rush should be no problem. We should be able to pick it up quickly. We should be able to get the ball out quickly. We should be able to run the ball, and that's what I expect us to do. And Derrick Henry's probably going to be my breakout part of the game when we get to that. But that's what I feel like the key on offense is: ground and pound football, the short, quick game. Play action, just running the ball. I want to see Derrick Henry, break that record that we didn't let him get in the Jets game. I mean, he'll break it, but I want to see him get to like 7 for 8 by the end of the game on the all-time rushing list. Like he needs to have one of those games, and I feel like you got to try to get Likely involved. or the tight ends at least, both of them had one reception for 9 yards in the last game. At least try to get them in open space. Get Likely in open space and then let Mark kind of eat more towards the red zone. We got to get their juices flowing and their confidence. So I already know Zay is going to get his regardless in every game, but we need to spread the wealth and also get other guys involved. Bateman might be back, so that's a guy we could get the ball to as well. But that's just my thoughts on the offense. What about you?
I don't even know what to say about the offense anymore because, as much as you gave the Jets their props last week, I just felt like that needed to be a get right game in that game. And it's going to be harder to be a get right game considering we're just coming off playing on Sunday. So I don't know what to expect from the offense in all seriousness because I thought it was pathetic last year that we couldn't run the ball against them. Derrick Henry didn't really have good outputs in those games, those two games. And now a lot of it had to do with the fact that he probably wasn't on the field a lot, because we were in a shootout. We had to throw the ball, but um, it just felt like Derrick Henry, outside of that one run in overtime, which was a timely run, so I'll give him that. But outside of that run, he didn't get a lot of, you know, mileage, I guess you could say. Like he could have been over 2,000 yards. He should have been last year because of those two teams, because we played the Bengals twice. He should have had 100 plus yards in those games. And the fact that
Yeah.
he didn't spoke volumes. And I don't see him having a good game on Sunday or on Thursday. I'm sorry. Like this offensive line is too piss poor. They don't move anybody on short yardage situations. We run the ball from shotgun too much. That's another thing. We run the ball from shotgun so much, like Lamar's gonna run the ball. Munkins can say whatever the hell he wants about he's scheming around or not scheming around an injury for Lamar, but you can't tell me that he's not like I'm gonna be a little bit cautious here. There's no threat of Lamar running the ball right now. So run the ball out of a power formation to make sure that Derrick Henry has a head of steam when he's running instead of, handing it off, and, pretend you're doing a read option or whatever. Get Lamar under center because what does that do? That'll open up what? Play action. That's going to be huge for guys like Likely and Andrews and Zay and all these guys. So the Ravens got to stop. Lamar's not 100% right now. We have to understand that. But we know the Ravens, they like to do it their way. It works sometimes, it doesn't other times. So I don't see Derrick Henry having a big game. I want to say their offense is going to do, come out and look like they're on fire, but I just don't. I don't have any faith in them. They're doing, I guess, enough to win these games, but like, God forbid we get in a shootout. What is that going to look like?
Yeah,
You know,
and
I just want to say this last thing before
okay.
you say something. The one thing I will commend this offense for is it seems like they know when they need to score. Like, they really need to score all the time, just because, why not? But like, if the opposing team gets up 7-0, 10-0, 10 points or more, it seems like the Ravens, all right, the offense knows how to deliver a drive on the next drive so the game doesn't get out of hand. So if the Bengals do wind up, if they Bengals get the ball first in the game, or we get the ball first, we get three and out, they get the ball and like they score a touchdown, I'd have confidence that we'd get something on the board on that next drive because the
Yeah.
Ravens know how to do that. But how consistently can they do that all game without having to be down in the game? Is what I'm trying to point they're trying to make.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point because we've seen that a lot in the Browns game. Like I really thought we were going to lose that game at one point. We were down
Yeah.
13-3,
Yep.
and it looked like, their defense was just going to keep stopping us. But, quickly we got that big play to Zay and, the rest was history from there. But, your concerns or, what you're saying about the offense is very valid. We haven't been given a lot to trust them, but what I'm saying is just, it's really, purely off of just hope. Like, and also we have to be due for a good game from them at some point. Whether they want to do it right now, when they have an opportunity to at least fail a little bit,
Yeah.
or in the playoffs, which would be recommended. We eventually we're due for a good game from them. So that's just the
Right.
mindset I'm coming from. Hopefully we do get it, but I like if we don't, which what you were kind of getting at, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's be honest.
I just want to see things look a little bit better. I don't expect 100%,
Yeah,
look better than how they did on Sunday. I mean, they're not going to just because they just played on Sunday. It's going to be maybe a little bit clunky on offense and defense. Kyle Hamilton's going to be banged up. The offensive line, well, they don't really do shit, so I don't know how they're going to be banged up. But Derek might be banged up. Lamar might be banged up. Zay might be banged up. I don't know. Guys might be banged up, going into this game. But I want to see at least growth in some place. Like
Yeah,
maybe you're better in the red zone in this game. Maybe the offense still looks a little bit weird, but you're better in the red zone. You have 5 possessions in the red zone, and you go 3 for 5, or you go 4 for 5. I go 5 for 5, go crazy, But in my opinion, just do something that you can build on week by week. Because I think I expect too much from this Ravens offense at a point where it's like, all right, let's just do one thing right that we haven't been, so that's consistent now, and do it next week as well versus the Steelers. Well, you really need to do it next week versus the Steelers, and then do it next week, but then also do something else better. Maybe you're the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half, you look better. You score touchdowns on those drives. You go in a half down three, you come out of the half up four, all of a sudden, So just do things better each week so that you can piece it together. It feels like with the Ravens, they just are hot or they're not. It's not, you know, let's piece shit together. It's, let's do it all together at once. And
yeah,
then that's kind of why I feel like it becomes clunky and becomes hard to watch, is because of that fact. Do one thing right, because this could be an experimental type of game. I don't want to disrespect for the Bengals, but it could be. But at the same token, it could also be one of those shootout games. So just like I said, continue to do one thing right and keep doing that week by week, and continue to learn one thing you need to do right each week.
yeah. And we got to start applying that now. We have been doing it, on this 5 game win streak, 6 game, 5 game win streak, but
Mm-hmm.
we got to make it a 6 game. So we got to keep applying that and moving forward. That's basically what it is. You
Yep.
know,
Right. You ready to get any stats now?
let's go.
Hey everybody, it's Jared from the future here. I don't know why past version of myself didn't give a segue into to the future version of myself, but I'm here to give you the injury report that we did not have at the time, and not even going to waste any time. Just going to get started here. The injury report for Thursday's game versus the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll start with the Cincinnati Bengals. I believe it's Dejon Anthony. He has a hamstring injury. He was full all week. He has no injury designation. He's good to go for the game on Thursday. Taj Brooks has a concussion. He didn't practice all week. He's out for the game on Sunday or Thursday. I apologize. Joe Burrow, obviously coming back from that toe surgery. He's full all week. He's good to go for the game on Thursday. Jermaine Burton has an ankle injury. He popped up on the injury report for the first time on Thursday, he did not practice. He'll be out for the game on Thursday. Joe Flacco has a right shoulder, right finger injury. He practiced all week, but he was limited on Monday. He has no injury designation. I imagine he's QB2 behind Joe Burrow. Trey Hendrickson has a hip pelvis injury. He didn't practice all week. He's out for the game on Thursday. T. Higgins has a concussion as well. He did not practice all week. He's out for the game on Thursday. Samaje P. Ryan has an ankle injury. He was full all week, and he's no injury designation anymore. He's good to go on Sunday or Thursday. Cam Sample has an oblique injury. He was limited all week. He's questionable for the game on Thursday. And Marco Wilson did not practice. I believe that's when they're coming back from injury, the RI there are injured. I can't. I'm trying to look at the key here, but I can't see if it's. Um, yeah, it doesn't have anything there. But if he's playing, then he's good to go on Thursday with a hamstring injury. Well, I guess he won't be playing. He didn't practice all week, so. I'm gonna assume that's injured reserve. So that's just gonna be my assumption. So that's kind of my assumption here. But anyways, Rashad Bateman, the high ankle sprain. He was limited Monday and Tuesday. He was full on Wednesday. He's good to go for the game on Thursday. Wonder how many snaps he's gonna get. Taven Bryan had a knee injury pop up. He did not practice all week. He's out for the game on Thursday. Kyle Hamilton with his injury, his ankle injury. He was limited on Monday, or did not practice on Monday. Limited on Tuesday. Practicing full on Wednesday. He's good to go in the game. Justice Hill now has a neck injury. He popped up on the injury report on Tuesday. He did not practice those 2 games or 2 practices, and he's out for the game on Thursday. Lamar Jackson popped up with the toe injury. He did not practice on Monday, but he was full both Tuesday and Wednesday. He's good to go for the game. Travis Jones and his continuous ankle problems. He did not practice on Monday. He was limited Tuesday, was full on Wednesday, and he's good to go for the game on Thursday. Kenyon Martin had a rib injury. He was limited on Monday. was full Tuesday and Wednesday. He's good to go on Thursday. And Ronnie Stanley just got rest. He was not injury related. He was limited on Wednesday. He's good to go for the game on Wednesday or Thursday. So that's the injury report for both teams. Just I'm gonna give it back to you guys to finish out the rest of the video. All right.
That's some good Thanksgiving games though.
That is some good Thanksgiving, isn't it?
Yeah.
We got some food. Thank God, Roquan can't eat before the game.
He might find a way.
He'll be filled up on freaking rolls, turkey. Shit. He'll have the game of his life just so he can eat the NBC turkey meal.
Hey, any motivations he needs to play good, we need it. So
Yeah, maybe we should reward him with McDonald's after every game. Anyways, to get into the stats of freaking Shaman Roquan. The Cincinnati offense averaged 22.5 points per game, which is 18th in the league. They averaged 307.1 yards per game, which is 23rd in the league. They averaged .382 points per play, which is 13th in the league. They average 5.2 yards per play, which is 19th in the league. Their third down conversion rates are 39.42%, which is 13th in the league. They're 70% on fourth down, which is fourth in the league. Their red zone scoring touchdown percentage is at 62.7%, which is 10th in the league. And they average 2.5 touchdowns per game, which is 18th in the league. Excuse me. They run the ball 32.97% of the time, which is last in the league. They average 4.4 yards per rush, which is 15th in the league. They run the ball 19.5 points per times per game, which is 32nd, last in the league, I should say. They average 84.9 rushing yards per game, which is 30th in the league, and they average .5 rush to touchdowns per game. God, I can't never say TDs without almost saying something else, which is 27th in the league. Um, the Bengals throw the ball 67.3% of the time, which is first in the league. Their completion percentage is at 62.29%, which is 24th in the league. They average 6.3 yards per pass, which is 27th in the league. They average 37.4 passes per game, which is second in the league. Who the hell is more? Who the hell will be more? 37. Who averages almost 40 passes per game? Anyways, they average 222.2 pass yards per game, which is 15th in the league. Their interception throw percentage is at 2.92%, which is 26th in the league. And their QB sack percentage is at 5.52%, which is ninth in the league. So their offense is definitely going to be something to worry about.
I was just saying that probably could be like the Cowboys or something since they got
Oh
Andrew
yeah, that would
Pickens.
make sense. That would make sense.
But moving on to their defense, everything is 32. Like you were right. A point of points per game is 32.7, which is 32nd in the league. Opponent yards per game is 415.8, which is 32nd. The opponent points per play is 0.495, which is 32nd. Opponent yards per play is 3.1, which is 31st. Opponent third down conversion percentage is 48.57, which is 31st. Opponent fourth down conversion percentage is 64.29, which is 22nd. Opponent red zone scoring touchdown percentage is 65.31. Opponent TDs per game is 3.9. If we can't score in the red zone against him, that is going to be really sad. Opponent,
Ravens, I'll tell you, we'll find a way.
opponent rush play percentage is 46.63, which is 25th. Opponent yards per rush is 5.1, which is 25th, 29th. Opponent rushes per game is 30.8, which is 30th. Opponent rush yards per game is 156, 31st. Derrick Henry needs to have these 200 rushing yards this game, I swear.
But this wasn't any better than it was last year, and he barely got like 100. I don't even think got 100 yards in either of the games. Like they sell out for him, and then I don't know. It's just dumb.
We need to make up for that this year. Opponent rush TDs per game is 1. I'm going to go to the passing. Opponent pass play percentage is 53.37, which is 8th. Opponent completion percentage is 66.76, which is 24th. Opponent yards per pass is 7.9. Wow. Wow, they're basically allowing a first down every pass. Almost seems like. Opponent passes per game is 33.9. Opponent pass yards per game is 259.8. Opponent interception thrown percentage is 2.41. And their sack percentage is 3.87, which is 31st. And so Lamar could probably make up for not throwing any touchdowns 2 games in a row.
This shit is terrible. It's Still doesn't have man defense. Anyways, to read off individual player statistics here, I'm going to read off Joe Burrow since he's going to be the starting quarterback for the game. The two games that he played, he was 21 for 36. That's good for 58.3 completion percentage for 189 yards. He averaged 5.3 yards per throw. He averaged 94.5 yards per game. His longest throw is 25 yards. He has two touchdowns and no picks. He was sacked 5 times, and hopefully he's sacked 5 times in the game on Thursday. And he has a 91.1 completion percentage. I mean, sorry, not completion, but quarterback rating. The running game, Chase Brown has 145 carries for 626 yards. That's good for 4.3 yards per carry. His longest run is 37 yards. He has two touchdowns in the year, and he averages 56.9 yards per game. Samaje P. Ryan has 32 carries for 198 yards, good for 6.2 yards per carry. His longest rush is 32 yards. He has one touchdown, and he averages 22 yards per game. And that's probably what I'm going to read. Look at Jake Browning. Jake Browning is their third leading rusher. Anyways, Jamar Chase was suspended last week for spitting on Jalen Ramsey. I kind of wish he was suspended this week.
Yeah,
But because they wouldn't have had T or Chase this week if he was
yeah.
suspended. But anyways, Jamar Chase has 79 receptions for 117 yards, and for 861 yards, and that's as many prior yards he had last year in 2 games against us. That's good for 10.9 yards per reception. He has 5 total touchdowns. His longest reception is 64 yards, and he averages 86.1 yards per game. T. Higgins, I guess I shouldn't read him off because he's not going to play. What is it? Andre Yosavash?
Yeah.
Yosavash has 23 receptions for 42 yards for 317 yards. That's good for 13.8 yards per catch. He has a touchdown. He averages his longest 37 yards, and he averages 28.8 yards per game. Noah Fant has 31 receptions for 35 targets for 265 yards. That's good for 8.5 yards per catch. He has 3 touchdowns this year. His longest reception is 25 yards, and he averages 26.5 yards per game. Last one I'm gonna read off here is Chase Brown. He has 41 receptions on 57 targets for 252 yards. How do you have 252 yards on freaking 41 receptions? But that's good for six. That's why, because 6.1 yards per reception. He has a touchdown. His longest reception is 21 yards, and he averages 22.9 yards per game. So we'll see how it looks on Thursday with them. Anyway, you can
Yeah,
read out competitive
we'll,
statistics here.
yeah, we'll see. And going on to the defense, Jordan Battle, their safety has 82 total tackles. Geno Stone, the former Raven, has 80 total tackles. Demetrius Knight Jr. has 78. Uh, Barrett Carter also has 78. Dax Hill, Justice Hill's brother, has 68 total tackles.
Oh yeah.
Logan Wilson, who is now on the Cowboys, has 46 total tackles. BJ Hill has 41. Orton Burks has 40. TJ Slayton Jr. has 35. Joseph Asai has 31. Miles Murphy has 31. Chris Jenkins has 30. And DJ Turner, the second, has 29.
Loki, if you're leading tackle gutters just two safeties, that's probably not a good idea because that's usually the last line of defense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big run's been broken off. When it comes to sacks, Trey Hendrickson has 4 sacks. He's only played 7 games, so and he's not going to be playing in Thursday's game, so that's a good thing for us. Joseph Asai has 3 sacks. Miles Murphy has 2.5. BJ Hill has 2. Chris Jenkins has 1.5. Jalen Davis has 1. And Geno Stone has 1. Wow, Shamar Stewart didn't get a sack.
No, you do all that holdout shit just to suck.
Comes to interceptions, Jordan Battle has 3. DJ Turner has 2. I'm gonna say Demetrius Stone. Geno Stone has 2. Demetrius Knight has 1, and Dax Hill has 1. So they're not like the Jets. At least they have a couple interceptions to their name.
They have the same record as the Jets, don't they?
That was a good one.
But hopefully they have one after this game. I think what they're 1 game better than them.
Yeah.
Aren't the Jets like 2-10?
Well, the Jets are 2-9 now, I think, because we beat them, and the Bengals are 3-8. So not that much better.
Yeah, a game better. Like, who's gonna get the first pick? Is that's what? Damn, the Bengals are really bad. Like, but it's just so Ravens just to not look great in this game. Like,
And
I mean,
you know
even
what?
think about it. They didn't even look great last year until Lamar turned it on.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But that
true.
just shows you the fundamental flaws with the Ravens. they could only be great last year when Lamar decided to turn it on because he had to. Like, I don't know. It's just annoying.
That's why I'm hoping that we can flip the script a little bit and just,
Well, they
you
technically
know,
have been. I mean, they've been winning when Lamar's not playing fantastic, but
yeah.
I don't know. Just, anyways, I'm gonna stop yapping. I'm gonna let you get into the breakout player or bowl prediction, breakout player, and score prediction, and I'll do the same afterwards.
Bold prediction, as I mentioned earlier, I think Derrick Henry has 160 rushing yards in this game and 2 touchdowns. And he's also going to be my breakout player. And the score, I feel like in a way this is going to be like a lot like how the Thursday night game was 2 years ago. I feel like we're going to win 27-13.
Okay.
I feel like it's going to be close at first, but then we're going to pull away. I feel like Jamar Chase is still going to have like 100 or like I'll say 80 yards receiving. I feel like he's still going to kind of go off, but it's not going to result to any touchdowns or anything. So 27-13, Ravens win.
Okay. You said 27-13?
Yep.
27-13. I swear you've done that prediction for like 3 times this year. Let me look. 24-13. You went 24-13 twice. If we held them 13 points, I'm really gonna believe in our defense. I forgot to mention though, last week me and you both went 9-5. So in the predictions, Monday Night Football just ended, so we both did pretty decent. I think my bold prediction is this shouldn't be a bold prediction, but I think Lamar actually gets a touchdown pass this week. At least one. Can't believe that was a norm a year ago. Um, I think that my breakout player, I'm gonna say Malachi Starks. I think he catches 2 interceptions.
I like that. Yeah,
He catches 2 interceptions in the game.
I like that.
And my score prediction, I don't even know, man. I think the Ravens win. I'm not confident about it though. I think they win 31-21. 31-21. That's my final score.
Okay.
So, anyways, before we get out of here, let me share my screen one more time so that we can do um the predictions for this week. So obviously we both picked Ravens, so all right, so you can go ahead, pick the other games here.
All right, so I'm going to take the Jags. I am going to take the Texans.
Really?
I'll take the Chargers.
That's actually a good prediction there.
I take the Bills. You know I
Yeah,
don't want
please.
to.
We need to get a game above the Steelers.
Yeah. I'll take the Cowboys. I feel like they're going to shred the Chiefs defense. And I actually want to see that happen. Um, I'll take the Dolphins.
Shit fest.
I'll go with the Falcons. I'll go with the Browns, actually.
Mm.
Broncos. I'll take the Giants. Lions. Bears. I'll go with the Bears. I think the Bucks are going to win that game, get back on track.
Oh, he's
Rams
not playing now.
and the Hawks. I'll take the Hawks.
All right, my prediction. I'm gonna just do it like that. Oops, that's last week. I said Ravens. I agree Jags. I agree Texans. Go Chargers. Go Bills. I think the Chiefs win. I think the Dolphins win. Falcons, yeah. I'll go 49ers. Broncos. Pats. Um, I'm gonna go Packers. We'll do something different there. I say they sweep them. Go Eagles. Cardinals. Do something different again. Rams. They're gonna fuck them up. This is blowout of the week. 56 nothing probably. Um, so that's my predictions here. Um, yeah, I'm thinking still two games back on predictions wise. I remember correctly. or three, whatever it is, because we both tied. So I'm like three behind. So I need to get three more right than you.
Oh, hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm just playing,
We
but
gotta think about like a prize at the end of this, like whoever wins the most predictions. Like,
well, the prize is going to be we'll go to the wild card game. We both win.
whoever loses has to buy the tickets.
But that's really all we got in this video. Just a quick pregame for the Thanksgiving games. We want us here at Birds Play Sports. We want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. We're all thankful for you tuning in, watching our videos, supporting our shorts. So we're thankful for that. We want you to comment down below in this video. I was gonna say what you guys are thankful for, but I don't know if anybody's gonna do that. So I would just say comment
I'm
down below.
thankful. What I'm thankful for is future Jared for reading up the injury report.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
forgot to
You
do
gotta
that
get that.
earlier in the video. I forgot to create the bridge there. So a little behind.
But comment down below. What are your thoughts about this game? What do you predict is going to happen? Score predictions. Comment all that down below. Also, make sure to check out our social medias, our Instagram, our TikTok, and our Twitter. And also check out our second channel, Casual Cinema. We'll be putting something on there very soon, the Avatar movie. But that's all we got for you guys today. Have a happy Thanksgiving and enjoy the game if you're going or if you're watching. We're Birds Play
Bundle up. It's
Sports.
gonna be cold.
But bundle up. We're Birds Play Sports and we're out.
Happy Thanksgiving. We're out.